All right, welcome back. So let's talk about Earth's water. Where is most of Earth's water? Where's it at? Not a trick question. The blue represents the water. Where is most of it? Not a trick question. The oceans. All right, the oceans. Well, do you know how much water of Earth's water, is located in the oceans? About 96.5% of all of Earth's water is located within the oceans. Another 1% of Earth's water is other saline water. Saline is salt water. There are some larger lakes and seas that are also salty. And then that leaves only 2.5% of Earth's water as fresh water. Fresh water is the water we use. It's the water we drink. It's the water we bathe in. It's the water we wash our clothes in. It's the water we wash our cars in. It's the water we use on crops. That's what we need. We really can't do much with salty ocean water or other saline water. We need fresh water. Where is most of Earth's fresh water? Think about that? Think about it. Where's most of Earth's fresh water? I'm not talking about just the U.S., Earth. Where is most of the fresh water located? Kind of tricky. So breaking down this 2.5%, the largest amount of fresh water is located in frozen glaciers and ice caps. We'll talk more about that in Unit 13, I believe. But most of Earth's fresh water is frozen and locked in glaciers and ice caps. The second largest area of where Earth's fresh water is located is groundwater, the ground underneath our feet. We'll look at that, I believe, in next unit, Unit 11. I believe so. Glaciers, that might be Unit 12. I'm all mixed up. In any case, we'll cover both of these in different units. So then the surface or other fresh water accounts only for 1.2% of 2.5%. So a small fraction. So we'll spend this unit talking about surface and other fresh water. So where is most of that surface or fresh water? Most of it is ground ice or permafrost. Just ice kind of located on the ground, not in glaciers and ice caps, or permafrost. Permafrost is permanently frozen soil, dirt mixed with water. So, only 0.9% of 1.2% of 2.5% is lakes. Then we have moisture in soil, not frozen, swamps and marshes, rivers, just a small little slice, living things, and then the atmosphere. So these are just slices of a slice of a slice. To put that into context, if I had 100 bottles of water, 100 liters of water, all right, 97.5 of those would be salt water. We really can't do much with. Yes, there are things called desalination plants where they take the salt out of the water to make fresh water, but it's a very expensive process. It's a very energy-intensive process, so it's not really efficient. They do it in some places around the world where they have no other choice, but for the most part, salt water is just salt water. We leave it be. So if we had 100, if we represented all of Earth's water by 100 bottles of water, 97.5 of those would be salt water. We can't really do much with. So then that leaves us with 2.5. Let's see, leaves us with 2 and about a half bottles of fresh water, or out of 100. Okay, so 1.72 of those bottles, so almost 2 of them are frozen. Can't do anything with. About a third of it, or a third of one bottle, 0.75% of one bottle would be groundwater, and of all the surface water, it represents 0.03 liters, 6 teaspoons. That's 2 tablespoons. If we had 100 liters of water, 2 little tablespoons, which is barely a sip of water, is surface water. And that includes water in the atmosphere and in the biosphere, in living things. What I'm trying to say is there's not a lot of fresh water to go around. It's a very limited quantity of water that we have, fresh water that we have access to. So living in the desert, especially with our weather being driven by climate change, is not a good place to be. With more people, we use more water. The more water we have, the less water we're going to have in the future. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not trying to scare you. Arizona, in about 10 or 20 years, is not the place you want to live. The Colorado River is already running out of water. It's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. I would suggest you move somewhere where there's a lot of fresh water. Around the Great Lakes. I don't know. Somewhere. Don't buy a house here. Just, that's the reality of things. Anyway, on that note, so again, 97.5% of all of Earth's water is salt water. That includes the ocean and other saline water, leaving only 2% that's fresh water. Of that, so 1.2% of Earth's water is frozen, 0.75% is groundwater, much of it inaccessible. We'll tell you, like I said, that's a whole other unit. That leaves about 0.03% surface water. That includes lakes, rivers, atmosphere. Even further breaking down, 0.02% of Earth's water is permafrost, frozen soil. You can see how much are in lakes, rivers, and swamps, how much are in soil, how much is in the atmosphere, how much is in living things. So, of all of Earth's water, only a very small percentage of Earth's water, about 0.03%, is even usable to animals and plants. That's from surface water as well as groundwater. In fact, most of the water we use in the Phoenix area is groundwater. The water that comes out of your tap, there's no rivers flowing around here. Where's it coming from? It's coming from the ground. Large reservoirs of underground water called aquifers, and we pump that water out. Most water that we utilize in the Phoenix area comes from groundwater. Same with a lot of other places around the country, as well as around the globe. We really only utilize, there's only really a small amount of surface water we utilize from lakes, rivers, etc. So of all the Earth's water, we're only using this small fraction, 0.03%. There's just not a lot of it to go around. And again, as climate change is kind of driving what's happening here in Arizona, it's only getting hotter, it's only getting drier, less water, even not only above ground but below ground. The more people that live here, Phoenix is a growing area. Arizona as a state is growing in population. More people use more water. In about 10 or 20 years, there's not really going to be much to go around in Arizona. It's not a conspiracy. That's not a lie. That's a reality. No politician's going to say that, because if everyone moves away, then they lose the tax revenue. You lose tax revenue, then you have no way to, pay yourself as a politician, because taxes pay your salary. So no politician's going to tell you, hey, yeah, we're going to run out of water soon. I'm not going to live here. I'm planning on moving sometime in the future, maybe a few years down the road, something like that. You have been warned. But anyway, again, on that happy note, we'll pause there. When we'll come back, we'll now focus on surface water, the namesake of this unit. I'll see you back here in just a minute.